guys, Mark here, and today I am going to be installing a Satonic automatic liftgate kit in my Model 3, my 2020 Model 3. It currently has the manual liftgate and I'm kind of tired of it. A couple weeks ago I installed the automatic front trunk and it's fantastic, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so this is my car. And for now, I have to manually open it, which is not ideal. So here, what we have is the kit. It comes in actually quite a nice box. And then some of the tools before we get it inside the box I'm going to need is a socket wrench. And a small one is preferred, one preferably with a rubber handle on it, because at some point you're going to be using it and you could hit the ground. You don't want to short anything out, so if you don't have one with like a rubber handle, you could use tape on it. I need a wire to fish, because I'm going to have to fish some wires through this long conduit, this black one here, and that's going to be fun. And when I did my automatic door handles, which are fantastic by the way, I was using long zip ties, which was kind of painful. So anyway, so I'm going to be using that. I have a wrench, and just or pliers I should say, just in case I need them, some long nose ones. What else do I have here? Some Gorilla Tape, just in case. A pair of scissors, you never know. Definitely a couple pry tools, and long straight screwdriver. I have a drill, and I have some electrical tape, and I think that's all I should need, but we're gonna find out. So inside the box, it's comes with an affiliate link here that you can partner with them, which is actually kind of cool. No other company does that, so I really like that, that they send it with the kit. I'm sure there's other companies that actually offer it, but and then there's a instruction manual here, which is actually quite detailed. Other companies, take note, because most of them give you the most difficult thing to follow, but it's quite in depth. So anyway, we'll read that in a bit. So inside it is the this is the electronic control unit, also known as an ECU. Worth noting that it does say on it auto power frunk, so let's hope that this doesn't cause me a problem, but I think it should be fine. I think that's just the sticker on it, because the ECU for the automatic front trunk looks nothing like this. It doesn't have this many ports. So we have that in here. This looks like some two-sided tape, probably to mount the controller, which I think we're going to mount down in here. We got a bunch of wiring harnesses in here. We got the struts, couple struts, and there's some grease on them, so I'll have to be mindful of that. This looks like more wiring harnesses, the latch, and then this here I assume is the soft closing mechanism. I would think that's what it is. And then we have some more wires and some ground I see. And what else do we have in here? Looks like we have a drill bit, because we're going to have to drill a hole in here somewhere for where I put it. I'm probably going to put it right around here. I think that seems like the most logical place to put it. And then what else is in there? You got the buzzer, which will make the beep sound when you open and close the trunk. I imagine that's probably optional, but I'll install it anyway. And then it looks like some more power with fuses, and it looks like we're gonna have to tap some wires, because I see some wire taps in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And I know one thing that's good is they always include a thick piece of foam, because the first thing we want to do is we want to take the struts off. So to take the struts off, it's actually quite easy. So what you see is right in here, there's a little bit of a channel Maybe I can get on top, you can see it better, hopefully. Anyway, you're gonna stick your screwdriver in here and then apply pressure this way, which releases this clip, and then you just pull it straight off. But what I'm gonna do so I don't damage the glass is I'm actually gonna stick to this piece of foam right in here, and then I'm gonna remove the top strut. And then when I do that, most likely the liftgate will probably come down, because I don't think that one strut is gonna be enough to hold it. And I will be back once I do that. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. So, actually, you know what? Let's just try it right now. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. I don't see why I can't. So you just apply some pressure. Oh, maybe I can't do it with one hand. Let me see if I can mount the camera here. I'm going to pause this and see if I can mount this on the windshield a bit so I can show you. Okay, so I have it actually mounted. So what I'm going to do is you just stick this in here, and then you should just be able to pull it off. Maybe I need a bit more pressure. Okay, so that wasn't too bad, and immediately the liftgate wants to come down. So then what we'll do is we have to be careful. We're going to do the same thing at the bottom here. So what you do, again, there's a little channel right in here. So we just apply some pressure. Oh. And then the strut should just come right off, which it does. Now, one thing that's really important that people need to be mindful of is you don't want to put on the new strut just yet, because they're torqued differently. Well, I guess not torqued, that's the wrong word. They have different pressure on them and they're different sizes. So if we did that, it would probably be impossible to take this one off, or at least very difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the struts. Actually, first I'm going to let this down, and I'm actually going to grab like a broom handle to just keep the trunk propped open. So I'll be back with that, and then I'm going to take out the struts and get them ready. Okay, so I've taken out the struts, and some of them have rights and lefts. It doesn't say anything in the instructions, and I see nothing visible on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the top strut on. So you should just be able to kind of connect it in there. Just push it on and it should be fine. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to let that hang, and then we're going to, let's flip this around, and we're going to take off the other strut now, as I said, otherwise it will not be a good time. I'm just going to get my foam, shove it in there, because again I don't want to damage the glass, and then get my little screwdriver, and then again you just stick this in that little channel to relieve some of the pressure, and then you should just be able to pull this out. Come on, you. So I should be able to wiggle it out. This is why you want this foam here, because I actually have to put a bit of pressure, more than I expected. I guess I'll just pull the clip right out, since I won't need it again. Okay. Set that aside. Okay, that took more force than I expected. Okay, so put my little. So now nothing is supporting the liftgate at all, except for, actually I'm using a snow brush, not a broom, because the broom is too long. So this, the same as before, although you probably can't see it. Just shove it in here. This one actually should be easier to, yeah, it just pops right out. The bottom's much easier. Okay, so then what I can now do is, again, make sure the wire is down. All right, so then you can just pop this in here, and it just clicks in like that. And then what we'll do is, let's just move back over here. And I'm just holding this with my head, which is actually rather uncomfortable. And then you just kind of rotate it and lift it, let the trunk down until it catches. Let me see if I can, okay, got it. Okay, so now that should give it a bit of relief. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Hopefully you can see, so I gotta lift it up and in, and then we'll rotate it so it fits in. Click. Okay, so now we're in, and I have nothing holding these except for the struts themselves now, which looks good. And you can manually push it open and close. Okay, and then what we want to do is we're going to undo the wires here, and we'll start running them down. So I will be back in just a moment. Okay, so one other thing that we need to do is we need to pull my mat back, and then I got to take this off here, which just pulls out. Actually, I should probably take off the gasket first here. I need to pull this out, which, let's see if I can get this set down. But this gasket definitely needs to come out a bit, as well as this. Maybe I have to take this out first. So, let's see. Yeah, this just pulls out. Like a lot of things, there's just little tabs on them. So we'll take that out, and we're going to set this aside. And then hopefully I can pull this out. Maybe. Okay, it's definitely got adhesive in it. So I guess I'll probably have to put some new adhesive in it. Oh, okay, I see. It's just sticky. It's not like glued in. So, not sure if you can see that, hopefully. So I'm just going to pull it out here, like so. And we'll just kind of work our way across. Because what thing we're going to have to do is we have to run the wires. So what we're going to have to do is go in through here, and then have to pull this out. And on the other side, oh, give me a second here. I'll get it rigged up, and then I'll show you what I have to do. So one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need your pry tool. This guy here. So I emptied out because there are 4 of the little push pins here, these guys here, that you're going to want to remove in the carpet. So you got to lift up this, and there's one here. Where is it? There, there, and there. So you want to do that because what we have to do is we're going to run the wire in through this crack. So we're going to probably use a screwdriver to apply some pressure, and we're actually going to fish it out through where this blue plug is, and we're doing that on both sides. I already removed this blue plug and I dropped it, so I'll have to find it. It'll just be down there somewhere. Not a big deal. Actually, it doesn't even matter because I'm not putting it back in. So that's how we're going to get the wires, and we're going to connect them together here. So go ahead and remove those wires, or the plugs, and then we can start getting these in here. So the way I'm going to do it is because your bumper, because you got to run, as I say, this here, we're going to run it underneath the gasket and kind of hide it, right? We're going to hide it in there and then cover it with the gasket itself so it's not exposed, in through this like crevice along here. And it might be too tight to get it down here, so what we could probably do is just use the pry tool here and just kind of insert it and see how it opens up a bit. Not a ton, but it should be enough that I can get it through. So what I'm going to do is take my wire fish first, and I'm going to run it down through that hole right here. So I'm going to run my wire fish in through here and up through here, and then I'll tape them together and pull it through So I will get that rigged up and I'll be back when I get it done. Mention that there's an alternative method that's actually a lot easier, is that underneath you can just use like a coin and take off the panel that's there, and you wouldn't have to fish it the way I'm about to do it. But because I have the rear diffuser, it actually covers part of the access to that. I could still get it off, but it'd be probably a pain in the butt, so I'm just going to do it this way. But alternatively, you can just run them down through here, and basically they'll fall right down out there, and then you can use your hand and just pull it up the other side, and it'd probably be a lot easier. But since I have the diffuser, that's not happening. So the trick to fishing it is you kind of want to, although you do want to go upwards, you actually want to go out this way, and the fish, you can see it comes out here, and you can just use the pry tool and it'll allow you to grab a hold of it. So now I have it out, so that's what I wanted. So then what I'm going to do now is finish running the wire along here, and then I'm going to tape it to this here, and I'm going to pull it through, and we'll see how that goes. And I will be back once I fish it out. So now I have the this tape together, so I'm going to try and fish this, and hopefully you can see it's the best I'm going to be able to do. So what I'm going to do is kind of bring it back this way, and we need to go over here, and I guess I'll need my pry tool again to make a little bit more room. So try to go with I guess the thickest part is up here in the corner, so maybe I'll have to access it that way. In there, perhaps. Hopefully. If not, I'm going to have to take the ends off these wires, which I really would rather not do, and get them through that way. Or, worst case, as I said, I'll have to take the cover off the bottom. So we're just going to do a little trial and error here and see if I can get this in here. A little bit of wiggling. Almost got it. There we go. That's the main part. Oh, I see. Alright, I'll be back in a second. I gotta take a closer look with a flashlight to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to take off the cover here, right? It's on the bottom, and oh man, I don't know if you can even see this, but you take those tabs, you turn them 90 degrees, and then up in here, let me see if I can shine my light. So I pushed it down, and you can see it right there. Let's see if you can see the blue part. So what I have to do is I'm going to pull that down with my hand, and then I'm going to pull it up and find that hole on this side here with my hand. So again, I'll pull that down, get all the slack out of it. Let me see if I can just reach while I'm filming. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull it down as best I can here. So now you can see it's hanging down there. So then I'm gonna try to reach back up on this side here. Let me come on up and show you what I'm going to actually do. So I'm going to reach up and try to go out this hole right here from the bottom, because I can't, without removing the wire tips, get it through here. It's just, there's no way that's going to work. So that's what we're going to do. And I don't think I'll be able to film that. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's the way to do it, is pull the wire down through, reach your hand up in, and pull the wire out here. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. It's much easier than trying to fish it. So We'll just pull all the slack up in here, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And after that, we can actually put this gasket back in. Just make sure it's nice and tight along in here and hidden. Okay. What you want to do is you put the gasket back and make sure it's in there nice and on the outside. And what you can do is, you can manually close the trunk. Make sure that it closes, which it does. And you can just hear the struts. It's fine if you do that manually. And then we're going to take these plugs and plug them into the controller here. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we need to take this off. So what we'll do is just reach in here and we'll just kind of pull down and work our way across. Let me see if I can set this down. Hopefully you'll be able to see. We'll see, maybe. So we're just going to kind of pull down and across. Clip fell off, but I don't think that's an issue. Alright. Just get behind here. There's one stubborn one in the middle. So, I think what we'll have to do is pull down and slide it this way. Holy shit. Okay, that one is definitely stubborn. I don't know if any of that got on film. Yeah, I think it did. Okay, so it's holding that. Yeah, it definitely has to come off. Okay, wow, that was really stubborn. Okay, so one thing I noticed is there's these little white clips. Like this. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. So these little guys, what I notice, are all up in here, right? Like there's one here. So these things actually sit up on them. So I think what the best thing would be to do is to slide them back in the hole, so that way I can just pop them in. Because this one right here is the one that gave me the most trouble. So I'm gonna pull that out with my pry tool and put them all back in here. That way I can pop it in. Otherwise, this is gonna be really difficult. So I'll just use my, where'd my pry tool go? I'm gonna use this one here, and I'm just gonna pop them out and put them here to make it easier to put back. Otherwise, it'll be impossible. Okay, it's getting dark, so the next thing I have to do is I'm gonna have to remove that little push pin here, and then I can pull this off, because what I have to do is then run the door button, door latch button, I guess. I have to run the cable up in through here, through this conduit, and so that's gonna be fun. That's probably gonna be the hardest part of this. So I'm gonna get started and see what it's gonna take to do that. And then I'm guessing it'll have to then run out through here, and then we'll be back. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to run the tail light button up through that. You just do it with your hand, and then you're gonna see as you feed it up, you see that little white tag there. So I'm gonna grab some pliers and just pull it through there. You can see it just says tailgate button on that little tag, right? Like I'm almost touching it with the hook part, and I'm gonna pull it through. Okay, I relocated to the car wash because it's dark outside now and it's lots of light in here. So what you're gonna do now is you use your wire fish and come down through here, and first you have to, as I said, you pulled your button wire through here, and make sure it's on this side or you're gonna be screwed, because this will wrap back around in there when it's done. And then I'm gonna tape it. I taped it to here, and so then what I'm gonna do, because this is a tight squeeze, there is not a lot of play, is I'm gonna spray some lubricant all on here and in here and in the top, and I'm gonna try and pull it through, and hopefully it goes through without too many hassles. You know, I tried to make this part as small as possible, but man, that's gonna be a tough one to fish through. So I mean, we'll see if how it's gonna go, but I have a feeling this is gonna be challenging. So definitely gonna need two hands, but I'm gonna hit it really hard with the lubricant to try and slide it through there as best I can, and hopefully that'll work well. Okay, so hitting it with the lubricant was definitely the way to go. It wasn't too hard to actually pull it through. So I now have it through. So what I'm gonna do is gotta remove the electrical tape and then run this up and through here, and then I should be able to bring the wire out, and then I can connect this back, and then I think all the hard stuff is done, and the rest should just be plug and play. And then of course putting this sucker back in might be fun. We'll get to that in a bit. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is going to mount the trunk button where I want it and drill the hole. So what I'll actually do is I'll set this aside and I'll put the nut that comes with. Kind of mark where I'm going to put it. That's probably a good spot right about there. That's going to mark it. Relatively easy to get through, and I'll just kind of tidy up this end here, get some of these little burrs off it so it's cleaner. That's pretty good. And cable through. There. Actually, I think there's adhesive, so better take that off first. It's nice and clean. It's actually quite cold out today, so I've got a jacket, long sleeve shirt, and a toque on. Alright, let's take that off. Go. I'll run that back down. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm not even sure. Okay. So I'm going to make sure it's nice, straight, which looks good to me. Push that in there. And then I'll take that plastic nut. Oops, got it the wrong way. And we'll get it in there nice and snug. Just a moment. Make sure I'm happy with that. Yeah, that way it's nice and lined up. We'll tighten that up. It's just hand tight's fine. Okay, then the fun part. Put this in, and these are probably going to be a real pain in the butt to put on. But let's see. Let's line it. I'm actually thinking what I should do is tape it to this. That's actually what I'm going to do. So that way it doesn't go anywhere or hit against this. It has a natural tendency to want to do that, so I'm just going to use some Gorilla Tape on this, tape it in, and then basically I'm going to pop this back in. Okay, so putting the cover back on is a little bit tricky. So there's these white plugs. You really only need 4 of them. So there's one here, there, there, and there. There's a couple, like one here and here and here, some random ones. You don't actually need those ones. Tesla, in some of the newer ones, stopped putting those in. And there's a trick to them. One, if you take them out, they're very hard to take out. It's not recommended to take them out, because if you do, you're probably not going to get them back in without destroying them. It's really tough. So what we're going to do is, on this here, I got some tape set on here because I want to tape it so it's not rattling around. But the tricky part is with the white tabs here, there's a little groove here, so I'm going to kind of just set this in here, and then what you have to do is start, right here is the best place to start, and you pull back on it, and then slide it in, and you do the same here, so you got to really pull back to get it in the channel. Okay, that's 2. Forward, that's 3, and then this one you have to go this way. But that's the trick to it. Let's see if I get this last one. It's the hardest one. Okay, so that's those. And then let's see where these are lined up. That's how you get that back on. Very difficult to do if you have the white ones in here and here. Take them out, they don't do anything anyway. Well, I mean, they do, but this is tight. So then now, as you can see, I got the button there. So I would just push it. It's not hooked up to anything. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove some of my stuff. Sorry. I'm going to get my flashlight so you guys can see. But there's some speaker wires that I have to hook up from the wiring harness. And it's, which one is it here? These ones here. So it'll say left light plug. So that's obviously the left. So I'm gonna, and then there's one for the right. So I'm gonna basically connect them into the puddle light, I guess, and go from there. So I'm gonna get a light because it's dark in here. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the latch here, and I've marked it with a pen, and I'm gonna mark it on the sides too, and I'm gonna put the soft closing one in. And after I do that, I'm gonna mount the soft close down here, probably on the left side. I'm thinking I'm gonna actually do it vertically, because when I put this in, I really don't want some like big bends in this, so I'm gonna probably try to put it down, you know, inside, of course, kind of like that. And then after I do that, I'm gonna try to start running some of these wires and mount this as well and get things cleaned up a little bit. I think it'll be easier to do that. And then I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna run the wires. I was going over what's the best thing to do, and I think I should get this latch done next. So I am going to take this off. In the parts list originally, I didn't state what it was, and this has actually caused me not to be able to do this yesterday. It's a torque spit. It's a 45, so you need a T45, which will fit in there nicely to take that off. So I'm going to take that off, put the new one on, and we will be back. Okay, so I've taken one of them out, and so you can see I've marked it. Actually, I really hope this thing doesn't go flying down if I take it out. That's actually a bit of a concern of mine. Ooh, I wonder if it will. Oh boy. Oh, I wonder. Is there anything holding this? I need to take a precaution here. I didn't expect that the part that this screws into would be super loose. I just don't want this to go flying, falling down. I wonder if it would be smart to try and line this up somehow. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna actually try to screw the other one partially in, because it looks like, I'm gonna bring it closer to see, but like what it looks like, and nothing showed this. Let's see if I can do this without wrecking the light. Is when you move this, you see the thing underneath it that it screws into, super loose. I got a feeling that if I take that all the way out, that the whole thing's gonna fall down in there, and it's gonna be impossible to get out, and I'll never get it back in. That's a big problem. So let me see what I can do. Ooh, thank God I noticed that. All right, so, and no video showed this. So I have my old screw, and I guess hopefully I can do this, is if I can get it started at the very least. Hopefully. I think I can. Okay, so I got it started. So then I'll take the old one out. Yeah, I just don't trust that. I could be wrong and it might be fine, but I don't want to take that chance. So let's get this going here. And then what we'll do is, since I drew my lines, I think we mainly want to worry about the height of this, I think. Anyway, we can play around with this. Like, this is meant to go up and down, I believe. So I'm gonna, where I marked the lines on the side is different than the width of this. This is actually more narrow, so I'm gonna go with where I marked it at the top for the height. And once I get this going, and then what I'll do is I'll close the trunk and go from the inside, and I'll try to line it up. I'll just get it somewhat snug for now. Play around with this wire a bit more, a little bit. Do it this way, I think. I'm just holding it here because there's not enough tension on this that I can do much. Okay, that looks to be okay. I'm just going to kind of not quite do them hand tight, but somewhat snug. Okay, so then I'm going to then, I guess, run this. I better take out the wires here. And then, since I'm going to have a few wires down here, I think I'm going to zip tie them all together because I still have the strut ones. So I'll do that. So, I suppose I can just move that to the side. Push this down in here. Might be able to tie 3 of them together. Let's see where I can put this in a good flat space. Okay, so putting it vertically is not going to work as I initially had hoped. See if I can hide this a little better. I don't really like that. It's going to have to go in there. Yeah. Right there. Yeah. Okay. Let's stick to that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a heat gun and I'm going to heat the adhesive on this because I want to make sure it really sticks. And then do that. Then I will zip tie these wires together. I think this should be fine like that. And then go from there. Okay, so what the instructions show is that one of the cords goes in here. So what I did is I just pulled this trim. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's up here. Oh my goodness, let me try to zoom out. It's really hard to get it in. It's about as good as I can get. This pillar here, pull that off. This comes off the side, then a little piece in here. And then it looks like there's some little pins, and I'm gonna take, there's one here and one here. So I'm gonna pull that out and I should be able to lift this up. And according to the instructions, there's a plug somewhere underneath here. So we will find out shortly, but I have to pause the video and see. And I hope I didn't just rip that all out for nothing, but as I said, these instructions suck. They really could have done a better job with that. I'm kind of disappointed. Okay, so it turns out there is something way back there. It's hard to see. I don't know if you can even see it. Let me try to get a light up in there. All right. See the light is shining on it. There's a white and a purple wiring harness. So now I got to run one of those wires into, I believe, the white one, and then have them come out down through here, and then I think it should be fairly okay. Maybe, I don't know. first I gotta figure out where I can route that to get it in here. So I guess with the light shining through here, maybe I'll go around the other side and see if I see light shining through, which should then tell me, okay, so I see it coming through here. So I guess what I'll have to do, whoops, is in here, you can see it. I'm going to point to it right there. The light shining through, so obviously that goes through there. So I'm going to take the wire, which one is it? The trunk signal. It's the signal wire, pretty sure. So that's going to have to go, I guess it has to go back up here. Yeah, the same spot that I routed the wire that goes through for the button. It's going to have to go through that same hole. And then just go straight in until I can see it. And this is gonna be tricky, I think, because I can barely get my hands back up in there. So I'll have to unplug it and then plug it in blind. And then I'll be able to hear it by the clicks, but there's no way I'll be able to record that or get a camera in there. So that's just what I'm gonna have to do. And then put the trunk pieces back and then run the power to the CAN bus and to the battery, which I should be able to record, and then it'll be wire management, test the trunk latch to see if this is lined up properly, and then go from there. We're getting there, but this is definitely a lot more work than I expected it would be, by far. Much, much, much harder than the front trunk installation. That was actually pretty easy. It was just all plug and play. There was really nothing too hard to get at. The hardest part was fishing the wire through the tow hook. That was a little bit tricky, but other than that, it was pretty easy. This is a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so actually connecting that wire really wasn't that hard. I thought it'd be a lot harder. It really wasn't that bad. Let me get the light back up in here, but you can see I got it harnessed in. So now I'm going to run the existing wires up through the same hole, and then I'm going to run it out the side here and down here, and then I'm going to put this trim panel and everything back, with the exception of the side here, and it should be almost showtime. Okay, so to run the ground wire and the 12 volt, we aren't going to actually go through that same hole. The speaker wire we did through there, but this one we'll go through the small one in front here. I already got one of them. Actually I had them both, but then I had one tangled. So for cable management, I'm just gonna run it again, pull it all through there, through all the slack, and I'll tie off the slack underneath the seat, which is where I'm gonna tap into my 12 volt. So it's literally just, you know, push it up in through here, this little hole. At least this is the one I'm choosing. You can choose a different one if you want, but we'll just get it started enough. And then once it's there, I'm gonna go pull it from the other side. Not sure if I'll be able to get this on film. It's really kind of tight, so I don't think so. I'm just gonna reach in, find it, pull it ahead. Okay, so at this point, I've run the cam wire and the positive and ground down the side. I haven't put anything back yet. I'm just kind of doing like a dry install. So next thing I gotta do is take off the seat. Hopefully you can see this little clip here. You just push it towards the middle, and it's on each side. Again, but the other one you push towards the left. And then what we're gonna do is, I hope you can see this. I might have to relocate this a bit. Let's see how well this works. So there is a wiring harness on the door because of heated seats. So we're gonna, for now, take off this foam guy here. And then what I'm gonna do is carefully, there's a ground that I can use here. And I'm also gonna take this guy off here, the side, because that's where I'm going to run it. So I'm going to run the wires down And first I'm going to power off the high voltage. It's very difficult to do with this one hand. So to do that, you just push that down. And you hear that clunk. And we can just disconnect it for now. And then what we'll do is, I think that's it looks like a 10 mil. Anyway, we're going to run the power cable down through there. And maybe what I'll also do is disconnect the 12 volt, or the 12 volt in the front as well, just to be safe. I'm going to loosen this up, and then I'm going to run the wire right in here, put the ground on there, and then the cam wire, I guess I'm going to run along here. And I really think I will go underneath here as well, and then in between the seats. I think that's probably the best bet. I mean, underneath the carpet just doesn't seem like a great idea. I think it's just best to run it along here, then out, and I'll pull that off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so for the can wire, I ran it underneath here, and I came out right here because I couldn't think of any good way. And I'm always going to have mats, so you're really not going to see that. And what I did is underneath the track for the chair, there's a little bit of a gap. So I was able to push the wire in through there, and then I'm going to run it across, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run it out right there where there should be a little channel where I can hopefully get it under. Oh yeah, you can see my finger sticking through easily. So I'll just do that now. Right. So run this through there. And that way we have as clean of an install as we can. I just can't think of a better way to get it to the center console here. Well, not the center console, the back of the armrest. Sorry guys. There's just no good way to do this. Let's try to mount my tripod. Sorry, I'm not a professional at this by any means. Give me a second, I'm going to pause this. I can't get my camera to stop rotating. Okay, so as I was saying, hopefully you can see, I'm trying to shine the light there as best I can. So I'm going to run this can wire. Well, it's not the can wire yet, but it'll connect to it. So I want to pull it to the slack. And then this existing wire is from some of the LED lights that I ran. I actually didn't really do the cleanest install, but this, just use the pry tool to pull it off, which I gotta go get. Okay, so a little pry tool, pull this guy off. It's the bottom. It's been a while since I've done this. It's not really hard to take off. Where was it here? I forgot. Let's just take it all off. It's weird. Last time I did this, it was super easy to take off. There we go. Alright, so I already have, you see it, hopefully? Yeah, let's see if I can move you a little closer so you can see what I'm seeing. So when I pull this down, I already have the cam hooked in to for my hand show screen, so I guess I'll just piggyback off one of these. I think that should work, hopefully. Okay, so then I should just be able to, I'm gonna have to try and connect it in here and hide it. I'm not sure how well that's gonna work, but I'm sure there's a way to get it in there. Let's see. But that is what I will worry about after. Oh, maybe it goes the other way. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it goes this way. Okay. Okay. So then, I don't know why I have two of these. That's kind of a concern. I only have one cam wire here, yet I have two of these. So, I'm not sure. Anyway, we're going to find out why that's the case. That seems very, very strange. I'm going to test some things out and see. Okay, so I have that connected. So now, okay, so I do have power in those two puddle light, trunk lights that I was concerned about, so that's good. The control unit is flashing with the power. And there's also this button is lit up. Now there are ways, it tells you can adjust the height and the speed and strength that the trunk opens and closes. I'm not worrying about that right now in this video. That is something that if you buy the kit, it's in the instructions. I just want to see if this works. So let's test it. Push the button. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, that doesn't quite seem as snug as I want, I don't think. Let's push it again. I might have to adjust the soft close. Let me see. Maybe I have to push the height up or down. Let me check on that again. Yeah, it's not pulling it tight. So I have to adjust the soft close. I'm thinking I have to lower it. Anyway, I'll play around with that. Let's see. Oh, I guess let's push it closed. Yeah, it's not closing. Let's see if it works with the touch screen of the car. Perfect. It's working on the touch screen. So I guess I'll adjust the soft close, lower it. I think in theory that would make the most sense, and see if it pulls it tight. I will be back if it does. Okay, so it turns out the problem with it closing, I actually didn't notice it, but I had a piece of electrical tape sitting there, so that's why it wasn't sucking it tight. So I didn't actually have to do anything to the latch, so push it now. And then the soft close finishes it off, and it's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the process and of cleaning everything up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this here, tidy up some of the wires, put all the trim pieces back, and call it a day. So that was kind of awful, only because of the instructions. Now that I've made this video, hopefully this will help you guys. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time. Alright, tonight's project all complete. Hey Google, activate the trunk. Hey Google, activate the front trunk. Hey Google, activate the trunk. Hey Google, activate the front trunk.